I had to come in my basement and film this. This shit is so crazy. I'm posting this, and I want y'all to repost, save this video, post it on other platforms before it gets taken down, because I want to clear up some of this misinformation about the Bayside Mall incident that happened. So me and my girl was in town, and we were shopping at the mall, and we noticed a lot of kids there. It wasn't a real big deal at first until they got to arguing and shoving, and then like weapons got brought in, and they started fighting, running all over the mall, chaos just all over the place. So we thought we heard gunshots, but it turns out that that was actually fireworks. But either way, that caused everybody to start rushing for the doors. People was leaving stuff behind. I mean, just dragging their kids. It was just complete fucking chaos, man. Anyway, so as we running, we look back and we noticed some weird shapes taller than me. I'm 6'2", shadowy, dark, solid shapes, not human. I promise you, these is not human. I mean, it made the hair stand up on my skin. And shit, we just booked it for the doors after that, man. I can't explain what that was. I can't say that was aliens, but I can say that was not human. It was not human. And they, online, I don't know if they're trying to cover this stuff up, but they saying that it was police officers and somebody, not shadowy figures. It's 2024, man. It's something going on. There's something going on, and they trying to cover it up. A lot of people saw what I saw, and like I say, it was so much chaos ensued that it was just hard to let that sink in, that we was realizing what we looking at. I mean, it's something you can never even create in your head in a dream. I'm putting this out there though, man, because I want people to know that this stuff is real. Get this out and spread this. And if you were a person that was there and you saw what I saw, please put this video.
Shalom, Ka Allah Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshai, Ba'Shem Rakol Kodash. The honors by teachers, the apostles and elders of Israel. Peace and mercy to the elect, for the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage were known as and still are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the Miami aliens and some other related events which should give us more information to make a decision about what happened over in Miami. But before we read that, let's go ahead and read this. This is Ecclesiasticus 5:15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So I wanted to read that because I had heard about this pretty much the next day when it happened on the 2nd of January. And it's already been over a week that this took place. The reason why I didn't make a video when this first came out is because Esau likes to put out a lot of disinformation out quickly, and his MO is usually just providing very little details and very vague notions regarding the event. So pretty much he lets the people rush into a panic and then fulfill his agenda, that being to scare the people, to keep them in fear. So I decided to wait and see how the event played out, and I'm glad I did because I've learned a lot more since, and it's also given me a chance to find old videos of similar events that took place. Now, were these aliens? Short answer, no. There's no such things as aliens. What is known as aliens to the world really would be either angels or demons, okay, because that is the truth of the matter. There's no other aliens in outer space that come from another location. No, the beings that are showing up in our world maybe not in this particular case, but in other events where that have been recorded and verified, those would be, like I said, either angels from the left side or angels from the right side. Angels on the left side being demons. And the videos we just watched were, for the most part, the main videos from the events that took place over there at the Bayside Mall in Miami. Now, was there something that showed up there? I believe so. And why is that? Well, because when you look at the evidence of what Esau was doing with the hundreds of police cars and what appears to be the limited amount of videos, and that's because apparently the police were there having everybody erase their videos before they allowed them to exit the premises or the area surrounding the mall. That tells a lot about what took place, right? There's definitely something there that these Edomites did not want to get out. Now, what could that have been? Did they really care about these, kids fighting? Right? Because this apparently is the video.
They're facing several charges for this attack and for the panic caused at Bayside Marketplace last night. Police say more than 50 juveniles damaged stores, started fights, and set off fireworks. Teens caught on camera beating up a man in downtown Miami. Tonight, they're facing several charges for this attack and for the panic caused at Bayside Marketplace last night. Police say more than 50 juveniles damaged stores, started fights, and set off fireworks. Teens caught on camera beating...
So there you go. See, so this is what Esau is saying caused all that action from the cops to go on, right? And if you take a look at that, and then you also look at this is the famous video of the walking alien, but this is a more clear video of it, and you can see it's basically just three people walking. Let's play it. So there you go. Now, you have these videos here that pretty much debunk the alien myth, right, or the alien appearance, but then you have this. Let's listen to this lady's witness testimony.
Now, I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to make this video because I think I've already been blacklisted online from a couple different places, but I'm very pro free speech, so I'm going to tell the truth anyway about what I saw. Now, I'm driving down in Miami with a girlfriend pretty late at night, and I suddenly see hundreds, and I mean hundreds of cop cars swarming the entire city, the entire area. You could literally hear the sirens from over a mile away. I've never seen anything like this. Guys, I've been in Miami 3 years and I've never seen a response like this. I genuinely thought that there was some kind of terrorist attack. It was honestly frightening. So obviously I'm curious. I pull up the car, we get out and we start talking to people. People are pretty calm. I'm talking to them, I'm asking them what's going on. And one person told me that they were at the Bayside Marketplace. And again, these are their words, I kid you not. They told me that they saw a creature, I know it sounds ridiculous, 7 feet tall, walking around. I was like, this is insane. So I asked, I'm like, this person's crazy. I go and talk to another woman who's there in a state of actual panic, and she tells me that she saw something out of a movie. She said it looked like Alien from the Alien film in the 1980s, I think she said it was. It's insane. So I get out my phone, right? Because I want to film this and I want to get these interviews for you guys because no one's going to believe what happened. And so I get out my phone and I start recording. The police come running over to me and they take my phone and make me delete the couple seconds that I recorded. And then they ushered me along. Obviously, this is Miami PD. The cops in America, I don't want to mess with them. They're not like the cops in England. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I delete the footage and I move along. Anyway, I get back into my car and I see choppers in the sky. And it's just insane because the police are saying the official story is that there were just juvenile kids playing with fireworks. Why was there a chopper in the sky? Why were there hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of police cars? Why did it look like some kind of 9/11 response? I've never seen anything like this. I really couldn't believe it. Anyway, so there's these choppers in the sky, and they're shining these lights down as if they're like looking for something. And I see a small glimpse of something. I don't know what it was. It didn't look like juvenile kids playing. It looked like something that wasn't human, and it actually freaked me out. So we got back into the car, we started driving, and then you could see, and this is, and you guys can look this up, the electricity in the surrounding area went out. Explain that to me. Why does the electricity in the surrounding area go out just because some kids are playing with fireworks? It makes no sense. But guys, look, all I know is the Epstein files have just come out. This seems like one massive distraction. The same thing happened when Ghislaine was in court. There was a massive distraction. We had the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard saga, which distracted people for weeks. So something weird is going on. We need to be vigilant. And yeah, if you're ever in that kind of situation, make sure you're recording, and the police don't snatch your phone like they did with me. It's absolutely insane.
So you have this testimony, and just from hearing her and how, she was telling the story, I believe her. I think she did see something, because I do think there were spirits there, demons in fact. Right now, let's go ahead and watch this.
I've heard about this. My dad's a police officer in Miami, and I mean, he's even running for sheriff, and I just talked to him. He didn't say anything about that. Hey, have you been seeing the alien stuff? Did you see that at the Bayside? Are you serious? You're joking. You're joking. Did they tell you not to talk about it?
How many times do you want me to slice the pie? I'm not allowed to talk about it.
What?
I do know what you're talking about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Can you at least say whatever? So they're saying it's like a fight broke out. Why did they send so many police cars? Are you serious? You can't say anything.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
You're no help, dude.
I'm sorry.
So that right there is a fairly convincing testimony. You see, so this guy here, it says, my dad's a police officer in Miami, and he's running for sheriff. So his dad is fairly up there, right? At least enough to where he's going to try to run to become sheriff of Miami. And as you can see, his dad told him he's not allowed to talk about it. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Yeah, you're joking. So the thing is I'm not allowed to talk about it. So you see, so something did happen. Okay, and this isn't the first time that this has happened in our world, right? In fact, let's watch this. This is another example of supposed aliens, which more likely are just demons or left-handed angels showing up and making themselves known to the people of the world. Let's watch it.
They were attacked by extraterrestrial beings. The Iquitos villagers claimed they fired multiple gunshots at the creatures to no effect. And here you can see the villagers firing their guns into the jungle in the dark of night. The village chief described how one of the creatures tried to abduct a 15-year-old girl. The girl had lacerations on her neck and managed to escape with the help of her brother. The description of these so-called extraterrestrials is very interesting. The villagers described these things as being very large, wearing like a body armor, elongated heads. They were floating on some sort of propulsion device that allowed them to hover in midair and then kind of travel silently through the jungle and disappear.
So that right there is Clayton Morris's from the Redacted show that's talking about, that did a segment, I should say, from I think Albert Alberino, who actually flew down there to Peru to speak to these villagers in this small town, and to talk to them about these beings that they've been encountering. They call them the face pillars. And the reason they call them that is because apparently the people who have encountered these beings, when these beings are either attack or they try to kidnap somebody, they tend to grab them by the face and hence make these big claw-like cuts by their face, right, or by their cheeks. hence the name face pillars. Well, just like the people in Miami, these people here have witnessed these large black shadowy figures, right? Which in this case they said, or Clayton said, that they had elongated heads and they appeared to have body armor on them. Well, these demons don't all, come in the same shape. They all tend to have different, appearances from folklore, right? But again, and I'm sure some of you Akim who have experienced some of these left-handed, spirits, right? I remember one of the brothers from a camp said that when he was doing some time, he was asleep and basically didn't want to get out of bed, and he said that all of a sudden this big black figure with what looked like a bowler hat, all black, right? He said like the whole character was black, even though it was like it was unnaturally black shadowy figure, but with a hat on, right? And he said that it said "get up," and he said it scared him, and it scared me too when the brother told me this, because I remember this exact same story that was told to me by my other friend who wasn't even in the truth, that comes from an earlier part of my life, saying that he was at a house, and I forgot the way the exact story was, but I remember he told me that at the or at the feet of his bed, that there appeared a large figure, right? A large figure that had what appeared to be a bowler hat on, right? Those little old 1930s hats, right? Like the brown derby. Well, and I gotta say, I've experienced something like this, right? With the exact same thing. When I was 12, and it was around Christmas time, I remember I was spending the night at my friend Paul's house, right? And I was dating his sister, which is why I was over there. I was, a little snot-nosed kid and shit, right? But, it was me. I was sleeping in the living room on one of those pull-out couches. And I remember it was maybe like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up, but I was really groggy. But I felt like somebody was watching me, and I looked down, towards the feet of the bed, and there was a shadowy figure there, right? It was, you could tell it was like a humanoid shape, because they had well-defined, like a shape to it, but it was like a black mist. And all I remember was it was leaning towards me, and it stuck its hand out. And I was in the state where I was scared, but then I was also really tired, and I just fell back asleep, right? Like kind of like put my face back into the pillow and just like was thinking to myself, ignore it. And then the next morning comes, and I tell my friend, I asked him, I was like, hey Paul, I was like, do you have ghosts in this house? And he started laughing. And his mom was cooking us breakfast, and he said, Mom, he's all, Yeshaya's seen the ghost. And his mom turned to me, she says, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened. Are you okay? And that right there kind of solidified the event for me, because it showed that it wasn't just in my head, that these people had known about this. Apparently, the homeowners before them, or before the people they bought it from, there was a little girl that died there or something. But the point being is that there is, dark energy in that house. And, I was 12 years old. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I just, thought it was ghosts myself. But not realizing that was more than likely these left-handed angels basically, interacting with those in the world. Now, let's read this. This is Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So you see, the left-hand angels, they're not physical beings, right? They're spirits, just like the angels on the right-hand side. You see, so they can do things that to us appear like aliens or ghosts or spirits, right? Or even just weird coincidences that we can't even see them. And that's because these angels, be it that they're on the left hand or the right hand, they have jobs to do, Okay, and what these people at the Miami Mall seen was a spirit. Okay, what the spirits were doing there, that's for the Lord to know. But these people, they saw it, right? And that's because they had to probably see it. And why is that? Well, there's scriptures which we're going to get into in Wisdom of Solomon that tells about a prophecy that in the end times that there are going to be apparitions or so-called ghosts that are going to appear to the world. But before I get into that, I want to watch this video news piece that talks about how these UFOs, not only do they show up around military nuclear bases, but that guards have explained and encountered shadow-like creatures while on guard duty. Let's go and watch it. I skipped most of it, but I just got to the part that's relevant to this lesson.
Nuke's connection is much stranger than mere unknown craft in the sky. On the outskirts of Las Vegas, an obscure part of the Nellis Air Force Base range, designated Area 2, has for decades been a reputed repository for nuclear warheads. As many as 200 nukes are said to be stored in Area 2's bunkers. 3 layers of heavily armed Air Force security teams patrol the area 24/7, watching for any attempted intrusions.
So on 2 occasions, we had an alert that was called where there was unidentified flying object over Area 2.
This former security officer says intrusions didn't only happen in the sky. There were multiple incidents of bizarre shadow people seen in and around Area 2, including one dramatic incident from 1991 when security teams were on high alert.
This person was never found, but the airman that had seen this person described them as being really tall, like 7 foot, and like I said, moving very fast. It was very strange.
So when I got there, I was straight security.
Another Area 2 security officer, Chris Cabrera, heard the stories of shadow people, but didn't know if they were real until he had his own encounter.
And when I turned around, there was this black mass form. I don't know what you would call it. It looked like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it looked like a person, but it didn't have definitive shape of a head.
Like vague, like a mist or something?
No mist. It was black. It was like a dark blob, but it had like a rounded top, like a head almost, and almost like a shoulder.
As with the UFO incidents, the sightings of dark, unknown intruders were taken seriously at the time. Officers were on alert as they searched Area 2, but never found a trace of the running figures. Their commanders told them that, quote, it never happened. Investigator Robert Hastings says similar bizarre incidents have been reported at multiple nuclear bases, and none of the mystery encounters, either in the sky or on the ground, have ever been solved. George Knapp, 8 News Now.
So there you go. See, so that right there is what crossed my mind when these people at the Miami Mall were saying that they seen these black figures that were like moving in all these different weird ways. And as you've seen, I put in an animation of the possible way that these creatures were moving, right? So again, just to show you that these are spirits, not aliens. So let's go ahead and read the prophecy that I was talking about, where it actually tells you that in the end days that there are going to come these apparitions upon the world. So again, I'm just going to read the Wisdom of Solomon starting from verse 1 all the way down. And the main points are in the highlighted sections here. So let's get started. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they, being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay there exiled from the eternal providence. Verse 3. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. Right? And what are apparitions? Right? A ghost or ghost-like image of a person. The appearance of something remarkable or unexpected, typically an image of this type. Verse 4. For neither might the corner that hid them keep them from fear, meaning that these people are going to be cowering in the corners and they're still going to be afraid. But noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. Right? So right there, these people are going to have evil visions, man. They're gonna be scary visions, right? Verse 5. No power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten the horrible night. Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight that they saw not. Right? So people are going to be basically freaking themselves out, right? Because you see, the Lord's going to do a lot of terrible things to the people in this world. Now, this is ultimately, I believe, talking about the Egyptians directly. But you got to remember that the Lord is going to bring the same plagues upon America as he did with ancient Egypt. And why is that? Well, because America is the new Egypt. And the same things are going to happen to America that happened to Egypt. And why is that? Well, because again, things repeat themselves. And this is how prophecy works. Okay? Verse 7. As for the illusion of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting and wisdom was reproved with disgrace. This right here basically means that all the magic that these people are using is going to fade away in these end days. The Lord is going to basically have these left-hand angels no longer deal with these Edomites, these witches, the people who practice voodoo, Santa Sangre, Wicca, all these different types of magic, right? They're going to find out that their craft has no profit in these end times. Verse 8. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubled from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. Right? So it just shows you that these people who practice magic, right, tarot cards and those protection spells and put up curses on people, they're gonna get messed up in these last days, right? Because the Lord is no longer going to not allow them to receive judgment for them working with witchcraft. Verse 9, excuse me. For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that pass by and hissing of serpents. So you see, so there's going to be like these sounds that are going to be around them, right? They're going to hear all these things that are going to scare these people, okay? It says, they died for fear, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided. So there you go, right? And let me just skip down here, down to verse 15. Where partly vexed with monstrous apparitions and partly fainted, their hearts failing them for a sudden fear and not looked for, came upon them. So you see, so this right here is the prophecy that talks about how there's going to be these future apparitions coming upon the face of the earth. Okay? And how did this all come about? Well, don't know exactly, but I know that one, it's the Lord's will, and second, I could only imagine that CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, that Esau has been working on over in the bottomless pit over there in Switzerland, Geneva and Germany and France area, that this statement made by the ex-CERN director before they replaced him with some woman, that he was speaking some truth, right? He says, for instance, an extra dimension out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. Sergio Bertolowski. So you see, this man here was speaking about, and I believe this was in 2009, he was speaking about how the CERN Large Hadron Collider, how it ultimately was opening up different doorways to what they believe were different dimensions. And they said that something may come through and that they may in return send something through that portal itself. But he didn't, but he went on to say that he didn't know, you know, what they were going to do. Now, recently in 2022, I believe it was July 2022, they recently turned on the Large Hadron Collider again after some major upgrades after it was broken the last time they turned it on. So they've been running it, so chances are that they did open something. They did manage to touch the other side, right? But again, this is all speculation, but just like as it told us in Genesis, what is it, I think 13, about the Tower of Babel, how Nimrod was trying to build a tower that's top reached into heaven, right? The thing is that they were basically doing magic back then, right? It wasn't about, the Tower of Babel wasn't about a large, you know, vertically large or high tower that would literally go into space. No, it was talking about how the Babylonians, the Chaldeans specifically, were practicing black or magic, right? Black magic, right? Or the Bible, as the Bible just said, art magic, right? And with that knowledge, they were using it to go into the higher heavens, or at least to make contact, right? We also see other examples of this when our first king, King Saul, went to the Witch of Endor and basically, communicated with the other side, right? See, so these things do happen, and as we read in Ephesians 6, right, this isn't a battle between flesh and blood, but between the spiritual world, okay? Because again, though we are physical beings, we are fighting a spiritual war, which we can't see, but we have to have faith. Now, that being said, let's read this last scripture, and then we'll get out of here. This is Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So like I said, right, I know that the Lord is behind all this, right? He's behind everything. And ultimately, as it tells us in the Bible, the Lord's going to bring back the plagues upon America, which had come upon ancient Egypt. Okay, and one of those plagues is complete darkness, and also these apparitions, right? These monstrous visions of left-hand angels or creatures or beasts that are going to scare people to death. And what we are seeing, be it in Miami, Peru, or at the Nevada, military test sites, could simply be the very first examples of this prophecy coming to pass. So either way, Akim, just showing that regardless if this is true or not, the Bible prophesizes that in the last days we're going to see things like which were purported to have happened at Miami and in Peru are supposed to happen. So this may be it, but either way, make sure when you see lessons like this, like the lady said, right? The Epstein list was just recently released. So this could simply be a cover-up. So you can't put anything past these devils. So, don't be quick to post things if you're not sure what they are. Best thing to do is to sit back, wait a little bit, make sure you get all the facts. Don't be ignorant in the subject before you report on it. So either way, hopefully this video was edifying. Akim. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kokodash. Shalom.